Okay, we are on Wednesday, February the 3rd. It's the afternoon, and we're going to be taking a look at double bonded functional groups. So after we get through today, we'll be through single and double bonded functional groups. Tomorrow we'll do some online testing to see how you do. So these tests will just be there for interest and fun to see if you have figured things out. Once again, you should be condensing all this information and making study sheets up. What we're going to look at first is a carbonyl, which is anytime you have a C double bonded to an O as your functional group. Now they divided this up into two different types of functional groups, aldehydes and ketones. And the reason is because these are associated with odors, and ketones usually have nicer smells and aldehydes have worse smells. So an aldehyde is when the C double bonded to the O is on either end of the chain. And a ketone is when the C double bonded to the O is anywhere in the middle of a chain. So an aldehyde, we have the suffix or at the end of the root al, and the ketone, the suffix at the end of the root on. So longest chain first, it's buten al, and it's on the first carbon. Sometimes with aldehydes, they leave the one off because wherever your aldehyde is 99% of the time, that's the first carbon. And it's always the first carbon, so they don't usually call it 1-butanal, they just call it butanal. This one is also a bute. This is butanone, and it's 2-butanone because we are on the second carbon. Just a couple other examples here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pentanal. You can call it 1-pentanal if you want, and it's 2-fluoro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pentanediol. There's two of them there. Where are they? They are in the 1 and 5. So it's 1,5-pentanediol. One more here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have butanone on the second carbon. We have 3-chloro. And we have 4-bromo. And once again, I am running out of room. 4-bromo, 3-chloro, 2-butanone. Let's take a look at one now. And I did this one in red because it's a higher end one, and I want to see if anybody can figure this out. So what you have is you've got an alcohol and you've got a ketone. Or sorry, you've got an alcohol and an aldehyde. The aldehyde would take precedence. So it is 1-butanal. Now it's also all because we've got an alcohol and it's a suffix, so you just tack it on to the end, you go 3-all. But this is not right, and I want to see if anybody can follow this. So if you take a look at this list, what we do is we find the aldehyde. The aldehyde is right there, and it is the most important group. So its main function is to be an aldehyde, so it's an al. The alcohol is the second most important group, so secondary function. So it's a hydroxy. Hydroxy is a prefix. So all we do is change how we name the alcohol right now to show that it's not as important as the aldehyde. So that's what this second column's for over here. So this would actually be 1-butanal, and it would be 3-hydroxy. So we've changed the alcohol from the name of an all to the name of a hydroxy, 3-hydroxy 1-butanal. That was just showing you what the next level is. Let's go on and take a look at our second group in the first video, and that's a carboxylic acid, also called an oic acid. These are important in flavorings. So if you eat candy, they've got malic acid and citric acid in it. In milk, there is lactic acid. So it is a C double bonded to an O, single bonded to an OH. Now I want to go back to the aldehydes for a minute. See how this is double bonded to an O? You have to remember that there is a hydrogen there. We just don't show it. So the difference between the aldehyde and the carboxylic acid is just that oxygen right there. Don't ever name this as an aldehyde and an alcohol. You will be marked wrong on a test for that. This group is always found on the end of a chain because a carbon can only have 4 bonds, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you try to put a carboxylic acid there, it would not work. Longest chain, this is butanoic acid. Very simple to name. And this is where I told you there were a couple of exceptions. There is a space in here. We said there were no spaces when you are in organic chemistry, but there is between the oic and the acid. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1 butanoic acid with a space, and it is 3 bromo. 1 butanoic acid. So find your longest chain first, your primary functional group, then your secondary functional group can go on. Okay folks, that's part 1. There's one more video for this afternoon.